Psalms chapter 84 and verse 10. God courts is better than 1,000. So one day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Let me repeat that again. One single day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Okay? When things were better for you. Moments that you can reminisce on and say, yeah, that was a good day. The kingdom of heaven blows it out the park, man. It blows it out the water. Just one day. Not to mention, the Heavenly Father, He's going to stretch out the time. He's going to expand the time so you can enjoy your immortality. You can enjoy your life. And the Lord said in Wisdom of Solomon, He created the Israelite man to be an image of his own eternity, man. We're going to be a likeness of his own eternity, man. We're going to be many most highs, man. We're going to be many most, okay? God's YAHAWASHI. And also what's going to make us gods? These laws, statutes, commandments, and us judging by the laws, statutes, commandments, but also these laws in our inward parts, making us those perfect judges. Not to mention, we experience these different reincarnations in this wicked flesh, so we know how to judge the flesh. We know how to judge this body because we've been in this body many times. Okay? But once again, the kingdom of heaven is going to be patterned after the mind of YAHAWASHI, man. A righteous paradigm.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Undefined.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All right. And what I want to go into today, all right, is dealing with the topic, okay, the hopeful lady, you know, and pretty much how, you know, she represents, you know, many, you know, the sisters that will come back in a lot of time, you know, and a lot, you know, as helps, you know, to the brethren of Yahweh Shai. Okay. And we're seeing these things unfold today, you know, and I just want to go into this topic because, you know, you do, you know, have your sisters that have a mindset towards helping, you know, the brethren, you know, in truth and sincerity. Okay. And this is the things that was going on back during the time, all right, when the church was being established. Okay. When the word was spreading, congregation was growing, and, you know, the ministry, all right, needed resources, you know, and the Lord, you know, He provide in many ways. You had rich men and rich women, you know, that would pretty much aid, okay, the word going forth. They will kind of finance, you know, different things with the word going forth. You know, you had rich, like I say, men, you know, and women, okay, that would help the churches, you know, that was high up, you know, within, you know, society, you know, even going to Joseph, Amatheus, which he was, of the sect of Judea. Okay, hey, well, he was well off. Okay, and then when the church started being spread to, these Greek city states, okay, in Asia Minor, all right, you will have Israelite foreigners that will be converted to the truth, and they will be well off. Okay, men and women. Okay, that's why you have the Philemon. All right, the book of Philemon was pretty much a letter. Paul was writing to Philemon, and he was asking Philemon to forgive, one of his servants. Philemon had a servant that ran off with some money, and the spirit had to where he came into contact with Paul and he was converted through the gospel and he became a help unto Paul. So Paul wrote a letter to Philemon. He was telling the servant of Philemon, like, look, you got to go back, and Paul was like, look, forgive him of his debt because he's a brother now. Forgive him what he's done, take him back, pretty much Paul vouched for him. Okay. But you had Philemon, he was a man that was extremely well off, within the church, being established. All right. But now I want to go back and focus on the hopeful elect lady, which let's get it. All right. Now this is St. John. No, this is John the Revelator. All right, this is 2 John 1:1. All right, it says, the elder unto the elect lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only, but also all they that have known the truth. So he's writing, all right, to these churches. Okay, and what you will have, particular believers, that will be charitable, and the apostles, the apostle, all right, Paul, the apostle John, they will speak on it. Okay, it said, for the truth's sake, which dwelleth in us, and shall be with us forever. Grace be with you, mercy and peace from the Most High the Father, and from the Lord YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, the Son of the Father, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly that I found of thy children walking in truth, as we have received a commandment, all right, from the Father. I now beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, all right, that we love one another. And see what's happening, amongst us as a nation, all right, because the elect is like a nation within itself. Okay, the hopeful elect is like a nation within itself, but there's a sincere, okay, genuine love that's, binding us together on the YAHAWASHI. Okay, as you have, these different sex wars between, Eve and, Eve and Dante. Okay, they going there, the red pill community versus, Tasha Mack and her crew, and all this madness going back and forth. Okay, Vivica Fox, all this, this madhouse, of the back and forth and the tension, between the modern, man and woman of our people. Well, amongst the elect, there's a sincere love that's coming back, okay, based on the standard of YAHAWASHI, based on order, okay? And we're seeing these things play out into fruition. First you begin with the brothers, the brothers, becoming on one accord, and that brotherly love, being established amongst the body, and they created a structure, for the sisters that believe to come under that structure, okay, within that order. You see, verse 6, it says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that, as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. Okay, because YAHAWASHI was doing what? He established a standard, of how we should be towards one another. All right. And this is something that was rooted in us, because he said what? Let's go here. What he say? In verse 5, it says, "And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another." Because, when you go into the ancient world, all right, hey, the women went hard for the nation. Okay, they went hard for the nation. Let's give some examples. Okay, let's get this here in the book of Judges, the 5th chapter. Okay, let's get this. All right, and you know, yep, this is this. All right, and everything is done in order. Because at the end of the day, we live in a society that put women on pedestals. For pretty much being a harlot. Being all right, degenerate. Okay, being out of order. Those pedestalized here. Okay, being a sex object. That was pedestalized in this society. Pretty much that queen of heaven spirit. Okay, back then our women was in order. They wasn't trying to get the limelight and trying to be on the scene. Okay, but it was certain times where they would put on for the nation because they had the love for their nation, you know, and they would make moves, all right, for the nation, man. But they wasn't trying to be seen and on the forefront, all right, trying to be the leader and chief. And no, okay, they would go in for the nation. Now, when you read Judges 5:24, it says, "Blessed above all women shall Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be above women in the tent." Okay, and then you have feminists, okay, in the head rapper read this, you know, and do a live stream and try to tell brothers what to do. No, man. Okay, this is just saying, hey, she did a act, and the Lord, hey, he blesses righteousness, man. For men and women. You see, well, it's in order. Verse 5, it says he asked water, and she gave him milk. Okay, she brought forth butter in a lordly dish. Now, to understand the story, okay, you pretty much had Barak, all right, in the armies of Israel, defeat, the Canaanite armies. But you had the captain, okay, of the armies of the Canaanites. He escaped, you know, and as he was going through, he was wounded. He was trying to find pretty much some aid, all right, and Jael, okay, the wife of Heber, one of the Israelite, all right, men, all right, she pretty much put a play together, okay. He asked for water, she gave him milk, and just speaking, speculating as a man, it had to be some type of sedative, okay, in their milk that pretty much put him in a slumber. And then it says she brought forth butter in a lordly dish. So she's pretty much whining and dining. Okay. But it's in righteousness. She putting the play together. Okay. Because you got like now, what was that? Cardi B. She brags about how, she was a stripper and she would seduce men and rob them and all type of wickedness. No, hey, back then the women had a mindset for the nation. Okay, to preserve the nation. Okay, it says she put her hand to the nail and her right hand to the workman's hammer, and with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head when she had pierced and stricken through his temples. So, hey, she took a spike, okay, and smote his head off with a hammer, man. Okay, hey, she made a play. She killed the captain of the Canaanites, man. She seduced him, okay, brought him that milk, that butter in that lordly dish, okay, and when he dozed off, that was it, okay. That was his last nap on earth. Hey, you see, it says, verse 27 said, "At her feet he bowed, he fell, he lay down. At her feet he bowed, he fell. Where he bowed, there he fell down dead." And once again, If you got and see how the scriptures is so crafty, you know, that if you got, like I say, if you read this and you have a feminist, okay, you still have like a feminist root in you, you'll look at that, you know, and see the word bow at her feet, like, no, that's just the way he died, okay? Because she smoked that head, you know, he was through, okay? He fell. It says the mother of Sisera looked out the window and cried through the lattice, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot? So she's waiting for her son. This is a Canaanite, okay? She's waiting for her son to come back. But now, Jael, all right, put that boy in a t-shirt, man. Ain't no coming back. You see? He was through. So reading on, it says, her wise ladies answer her, letting you know that Sisera was a man of status because even his mother had servants. Okay, it says, yeah, she returned. She returned, answered to herself, have they not speed? Have they not divided the prey? To every man a damsel or two. Okay, because women will be spoils of war. Okay, it says to Sisera a prey of diverse colors, a prey of diverse colors of needlework, which is garments, diverse colors of needlework on both sides, meat for the necks of them that take the spoil. All right. So she's looking for a son, but he never showed up. And then this is Deborah saying this. All right. Deborah says, so let all thine enemies perish, O Lord, but let them that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might, and the land had rest 40 years. Okay, so what? She aided, okay, the men of Israel, okay, and what? Against the heathens, okay? Which, like, now you have the opposite of the majority of our women where they aid the heathen against the Israelite man, okay? Well, that's part of the curses, you know, we get it, you know? It is what it is. Well, let's go here to let's go here to Exodus 1. I started at 8. All right. Exodus 1 and 8 said, there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up, all right, out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Python and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they was grieved because of the children of Israel. Okay, and Jake was breeding, all right, with them burdens on them, man. Okay, you know who Jake is today, man. In the worst conditions, and Jake still multiplied, man. On the worst circumstances. And it says the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they were made to serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Sophra, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of midwives to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded. You see that? But the midwives feared the Most High. So going back to, hey, what did John say? Well, in First John, what did he say? You know, I write to you not of a new commandment. Okay, he was talking about what? The love, and that love came from what? The fear of the Most High, man. Which they were like, nah, these are sons of God. Okay, that's when the Israelite woman, looked at the man like, nah, these are sons of God. Like, they feared the Most High over Pharaoh. Okay, and you see that spirit, coming back, and even amongst, the congregation, and you can see it, no new thing on the sun, and that generation, that mindset, that generation of women, they would have to be back today, man, and their lot, for salvation. He said, but the midwives feared the Most High and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. The exact opposite of today, where they're rapping about abortion and playing bees, and and even if Jake do having to make it out the womb, you know, he make it through that obstacle. Okay. Then look at the environment that they're in, man. Okay. But it was a complete opposite back then. Like they, like because this could be punishable by death. Okay. But listen, they gonna finesse Pharaoh. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing and have saved the men children alive? And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. They were like, look, we can't keep up. All right. The Israelite women ain't like, all right, the Egyptian women, okay, they lively. You see, it was going down. You see, but they were pretty much running game on Pharaoh. Like, look, we can't keep up, bro. Like, goddamn, like when we come in, we deliver one baby, it's another baby coming out. Like, we can't keep up. You see, it says, therefore, the Most High dealt with the midwives, all right, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Okay, and waxed very mighty. You see that? Ooh, and that was when the woman had a mindset towards the nation. She was thinking nation mind. All right, the opposite of today. Okay, so let's go from there. Yep. So now let's fast forward it, because, like I say, there was in the ancient world, the Israelite women, they had a sincere love for the nation, and that's why John was like, look, this is no new commandment, because he seen it coming back, how the sister was helping, aid the church. Okay. Now this is Romans 16:1. It says, I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the churches at Cenchrea. Okay. Now, when you understand Phoebe, okay, and like I say, a lot of times these Bible characters represent, multiple, okay, spirits, within the body. You see? Now, I want to go from there. I want to get this article. All right, because when you go into, let's see. Now, we're going to get a little bit of meat, because one thing about these articles, especially dealing with the women of the church, they try to push that queen of heaven and women's equality, within some of these articles, but we're just going to kind of deal with some of the facts, dealing with Phoebe, so we can kind of get an understanding, the role she played and kind of her role within society, why she was able to be, such a help. Okay. Just to understand, all right, as you have the same things going on today, because what this same Greco-Roman, okay, infrastructure set up today. All right. Now, He said, what do we know about the biblical figure of Phoebe, both from the short text and from the large New Text context? It said, first, Phoebe was part of a larger cohort of women who partnered closely with the Apostle Paul, women such as Chloe, all right, Corinthians 1 and 11, Nympha, Colossians 4 and 15, Aphia, Philemon 2, all right, Judea and Syntyche, Philippians 4, all right, verses 2 and 3, and Junia, Romans 16 and 7. Sometimes Paul gets labeled as anti-woman, but Phoebe and her sisters will surely testify otherwise, because they say Paul is anti-woman because he was set up order, and he said, women shouldn't teach or they shouldn't usurp authority. Okay, women was helping, they played a role, all right, they had their part, and they had a needful role, okay. But being a teacher and trying to usurp authority over men, he spoke against that. And then he gave the order, okay, of the Most High, YAHAWASHI, the Israelite man, then the Israelite woman. He gave that order, okay. So the Apostle Paul wasn't pushing feminism or the Queen of Heaven spirit, no, okay. But he would, commend certain sisters, all right, for what they was doing for the body, man, okay. Now, I want to jump down to here. Okay. It says Paul refers to Phoebe as a benefactor. In the Greco-Roman world, which we live in the Greco-Roman world today, benefactors or patrons funded various social enterprises. So Phoebe was pretty much a mover shaker within the Roman, with the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay. You funded enterprises like she was well off. Okay. It wasn't like, see, in Judea, the women, they wasn't over businesses and all these different high social, in these different social realms, and having all these different careers and different things. Like, no, it wasn't like that in Judea. The women was still more of a domestic order, okay, around the household. But in the Israelite foreigners, the women, would be in different, okay, stratospheres of society, okay, where they had, they were able to, have these resources and be over things, man, moving and shaking. And they're just how it was set up. But see, some of those women, okay, was converted into the truth, and they used their status and their resources to aid the church, just like today. He was everywhere, man. Okay, he was an astronaut. He's a scuba diver. Okay, she's at the NFC Championship game calling plays. The referee at the finals. Every goddamn way. He's like, goddamn, he's like, Eves is you. He's like, yeah, nigga, hold up. Like they everywhere. Like that's what it is, But some of those women, would hear this word and be converted, and they would use their status and their resources to forward the church. It says, as a benefactor, Phoebe, all right, was a woman of some means who was generous with her support of others. Paul, in particular, all right, theologian Mark Moscow writes, as well as being an important part of the Roman society at all levels, patronage was also important in the church. Okay, Christianity was a movement sponsored by local patrons to their social dependence. Okay, so what we're seeing, all right, happening now, these are things that was happening then, because like I said, you have men, and women that will be high up, within the Greco-Roman Empire. Cornelius, okay, a centurion, in this day's times, will make, hundreds of thousands a year, 4 or 5, 100,000 a year. That was like the centurion salary. Okay, that's why you had the centurions that was able to, build synagogues for Jake, those Israelite centurions, You know, they was building synagogues and different things, all right, for Jake, because hey, they was well off. They had them high salaries in Rome. You know, the centurion will make like 15 times more than the average, the Roman soldier. Okay, because that was a very, crucial part of Rome's military. Okay, and then like I said, you have women, all right, within the Roman society, all right, that was well off, and they was able to help, you know, and they was commended for it in particular, scripture, you know. So you have the same thing, happening today, all right, in this time, all right, and I just want to go into it, man, go into that history, the water, for everything that you brothers and you sisters do, man. And it's not a dollar amount, only that brothers request or anything, like sisters got different shops, on Etsy, brothers buy things, and they throw extra things in there, sisters send garments, you know, like whatever, it's all appreciated, you know, and it's those, it got to be those women coming back, even going back to the time of Egypt, when they thought highly, of the nation, you know, even to the time of the Greco-Roman period when they was, they utilized their position in society, to aid, the same thing is happening now, in this time. And now we're in a time where hey, we're all going to be rewarded, you know. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there, put that perspective out, as we constantly, going to the next phase in this ministry, man, you know. So until next time, I pray that you brothers and you sisters was edified. Till next time, I say shalom, kwam yashala, Bible ball, DTA soon, shalom.